We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast, episode number 73.
Welcome to the We Make Movies podcast, making the world a better place, one film at a time. And now, here are your hosts, otherwise known as the director, the actress, and who the hell is that guy? Chad, Michelle, and Garrett.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast. It's all about how to get your movie made, how to get it seen by other people, and how to get it awesome. I am your host, as always, Garrett Robinson. With me, as always, faithful co-hosts Chad Kukahiko and Michelle Lucadou. We are all of us independent filmmakers and members of the We Make Movies filmmaking community on Los Angeles. What's up, guys?
What up?
Sorry for the technical difficulties. Being late today was entirely my fault. My computer was being a dick, basically.
Dick.
Fuck
Dick.
that guy.
Dick.
Seriously.
Right.
What an
Yeah.
asshole. Well,
But-
I certainly hope that we have important things to talk about this week, and I certainly hope that there are no stupid, bullshitty topics that literally everyone is talking about and that we
No.
are therefore kind of forced to cover. Oh, wait, I forgot 50 Shades of Grey came out. Chad, why don't you...
Well, it's tanking. It's
Yeah.
tanking right now on Rotten Tomatoes. With the critics, it is tanking.
Right.
And yet, it's making a lot of money.
God
It
damn
has 26% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It still has 50%, 50 even with public. But it's made, I mean, they're projecting that it will have made by the end of tonight, or is it tomorrow? Because it's a 4-day, whatever. Anyway, in the first 4 days, they're announcing it's going to be over 90 million. However, I haven't seen it. I don't plan on seeing it. It's like Twilight with vampires, apparently, and a lot more anal. I don't know. I'm just saying that. I don't know if there's anything. Anyway, but the what I've been hearing from some of the critics has been fascinating. I don't know if you saw this, but there is bouncing around the interwebs right now a very amazingly what's the word? I guess sort of bad critique of it from a critic in Australia. She basically called it, amongst other things, because it was a whole diatribe. It was pretty amazing. She called it domestic violence dressed up as erotica.
Oh, it absolutely is. It
Oh.
absolutely is.
Wait, did you see it?
I haven't seen it, but I have, okay, this is a...
I don't know. I don't know if you can talk then.
This is no, hold
Yes,
on.
I
This
do.
is a big discussion topic on Tumblr. I am extremely active on Tumblr, and there are thousands of posts on Tumblr about the book. So, assuming that the movie is any kind of faithful adaptation of the book, having read the passages of the book that I have read, it is absolutely abuse. There are times in the book where he freaking has
Yes.
sex with her without her consent. That's rape. Hello.
Well, okay, so I've read all 3 books.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Thank you, book club. Whatever.
I didn't even know there were 3.
There
Yeah.
are 3 books, and we'll get to that in a minute. But there are it's dicey. There's a line she kind of does consent because she signs a contract. Having
Okay.
consented ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay.
She signed a
It's not-
contract to be. I don't think that would stand up in any court. Just for the
No,
record.
no.
You don't think it
Well,
would stand up.
it's Twilight fanfic, right?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do know that.
That
But
in one
here's-
sense
And that
that
makes
tells
it
us all we
okay
need to
in
know.
what? Yeah, but
Which brings me to actually my
so
topic.
you
which
liked
is
the book. You liked it, in other
me?
words.
No. God, I wanted to crawl inside my literary the first.
Why did you read all 3?
Before book club we do these themes, right, for book club.
I
So
don't
we
think Garrett
read
believes you. I think he thinks you liked it.
No. I know why she read all the books. It's the same reason my wife keeps watching fucking Vampire Diaries. I'm like, this is so bad, and she's like, I know, it's terrible.
I know
And I'm
it's
like,
bad. It's awful.
stop watching the show. She's like, I cannot stop watching it.
If I would love to see, I'm sure someone has put it together, the number of times when she describes release, orgasm in the books, but it's always the same words. he like found his release. She it's ridiculous, but it's like she's used that one a third time. I'm like, God, but it's just, and it was also, it's so bad that it's good that you're just like reading, you're like, oh God, really? I don't know. Anyway, but
I actually, if anybody's interested, on my YouTube channel, one time for a punishment, like I let my viewers down, or I didn't meet a target. So for my punishment, I read 50 Shades of Grey.
In fact,
whole book?
I have a prop for our 50 Shades of Grey.
A writing prop?
Evening. So.
That's fantastic.
In case either of you guys get out of line.
Awesome.
I'm not good at it.
Good.
I don't know.
Thank me over the internet.
So, which leads me to my topic. Apparently, there was like all kinds of controversy on set because, first of all, there's all these articles. There's the one that I read is on Hollywood Reporter. E.L. James, the writer, and Sam Taylor Johnson, apparently the director, did not get along, like, at all on set. So much so that, apparently all of the actors sided with the director. But word on the street is that Sam Taylor Johnson is not going to be returning for the next 2 films. Like, she's like, I'm fucking out. This is crazy. It's also awful. Hollywood Reporter.
The lead?
No, she's the director.
Oh, the director. So the director is not going to do it.
Out.
It's not like. Can you tell if it was her choice or not?
It's looking from most places that I've been reading.
The words I chose. I didn't notice it until after, by the way.
Oh, God.
Chad! But apparently they're calling it 50 Shades of Grey, calling E.L. James 50 Shades of Grey.
It's almost as though E.L. James is a kind of creepy person with overblown ideas of self-employment.
Which is E.L. James, the writer or the director?
The writer. Because when Universal gave... So when Universal first put the picture together, they gave James like unprecedented control, like over everything, like casting, wardrobe, dialogue, and like apparently she took advantage of her ridiculous power and was very vocal about her opinions, and anyway, so
might we say she was like over controlling and like perhaps even a little bit abusive to the people she was interacting with?
You think she had a writing crop?
Maybe she got something in writing beforehand saying what she was allowed to do, and then completely went overboard and just absolutely abused the shit. It's a metaphor for what Christian Grey does in the book, is what I'm doing here, in case anybody can't tell.
Really?
No, everybody knows.
No,
everybody knows, Garrett.
Well, I wanted to make sure in case there might be in
case they're not paying attention.
I want to talk about on this is so 50 Shades of Grey, like so this whole like abuse thing and everything like that. Likely you never heard about it before, but like I said, like people have been talking about it on Tumblr for years and years, ever since the books first came out and became a big thing, because like his pattern of behavior is like he literally steals her car and gets rid of it somewhere and buys her a new one that is like up to his standards. He won't let her meet or talk with anyone that he doesn't approve of. She's not allowed to tell her friends or family about their relationship or about him unless he approves of it. When she schedules a trip to go visit her mother, he like flips out and all this sort of shit. There's like a lot of really fucked up things that if any person that knew was in a relationship with a guy who was doing these things, you'd be like, okay, you need to get out before they find your head in a box. So
apparently this is all done in her best interest.
Absolutely. Of course. They always say that right before the murder-suicide. So my point is that I feel like nobody cares until it becomes a movie. You know what I mean? Like, not that it's the same thing, but we saw like a parallel situation with the entire Game of Thrones series, where everybody who read the books already went through the ending of the first book, no spoilers, and the Red Wedding and all of that shit. Like, everybody went through it, and it was like a major thing for everybody who read the book. But then it happens on the show, and like it's maybe not even like as crushing as it is in the books, and everybody flips out. And is it like, I don't know, is it just like, because I don't think it's that like not as many people read books. Why is it that like it doesn't hit mainstream discussion until it's in a freaking movie?
Well,
Because the type of people that read novels are not necessarily as vocal on social media, I think.
You weren't entirely. That wasn't entirely true. I have heard of 50 Shades of Grey. It's not that I'd never heard of it. It's just
but I mean like that particular side of it, you know.
Well,
like
yeah,
people,
I don't really. But all I heard, and I've known about it for years. It's just like I'm like, oh, it's like the porn version of Twilight. I'm like, yeah, I still don't care. So that's all. And I was like, I thought it was basically like I think there was a. What was it? There was like a show, some sitcom or something where, it was on The Office, where one of the actresses, by the way, I'm losing my voice, as you may or may not be able to tell.
That's cute.
One of the people, she's reading 50 Shades of Grey right there in the office, and she's making orgasm sounds while she's reading the book. And they're like, this is disgusting. You got to get her to stop reading this book here. It's really disgusting. So that's it. That was pretty much my entire,
when I downloaded it, when I was in New York, I downloaded it on my Kindle so that I could read it on the subway so that no one would know what it was, because I was just so mortified that I was reading. But by the way, is it R? Is it rated R or NC-17?
Apparently it's rated R.
So I found this interesting article about it's how many thrusts get you an NC-17 rating.
What?
Yeah. So it's like apparently you got like 3 or 4 seconds of thrusting. Like thrusting is a big deal. Oral apparently is a big deal. Full frontal male or female almost guarantees an NC-17.
Almost.
I once knew a lady.
Almost, yes.
Who was on.
Unless it's like Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct.
Right.
I once knew a lady who was on that board. Like I wasn't supposed to know who she was because they're supposed to be kind of secretive about it. But she was like a pastor of a church, and it was, I don't know. It's really interesting that there's a group of people that are just people that are making these decisions for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Oh, curious.
Well, apparently, like same-sex interactions are judged more harshly.
Really?
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
weird.
As with copulation, it's how long the scene lasts. So.
Oh my
So
God.
only
Anyway,
like 2 or 3 thrusts, man.
our friends went and saw it for Valentine's Day last night, and apparently it's like. Apparently they pushed that rating. Apparently it's like boobs like every other minute, like, yeah. So anyway,
moving right along.
Let's talk about something that matters.
Let's stop talking about that. Chad, you have a discussion about something that actually bears some importance to the world.
Yes, I finally broke down this week and actually looked up. I mean, I already know what net neutrality is. It's like it's a buzzword that's been flying around for years now, and over the past couple weeks, there was apparently something going on at the FCC, and I didn't really understand what was going on. It was about Title II and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, finally looked it up, and apparently what proponents of net neutrality, and if you don't know what net neutrality is basically the idea that anything that happens on the Internet should be considered basically like something that's open to the public. The Internet should be open to the public, everybody, so you shouldn't be able to buy faster service than slower service. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to pay for extra. So that's what net neutrality is all about. Now, what proponents of net neutrality have been trying to do, they've been trying to get the federal, what does the FCC stand for? I don't even, Communications Commission. Okay, Federal Communications Commission, to label the Internet as what's called a common carrier under Title II, and basically under Title II, common carrier is it's basically like a public road. It's a road that everybody's supposed to be able to use, and there's law. There's existing law that basically makes it so that these highways and and freeways and whatnot are open to the general public, and you can't really. I mean, yes, there are toll roads now, and especially like on the East Coast. But I don't think it's legal for any private company. I think that's what it is. It's like I think a constituency can decide, hey, we'll provide this other thing and blah blah blah. But a private company cannot benefit from tolls. So anyway, so that's basically what these guys are trying to do, and if that were something that could happen with the internet, boom, you basically have net neutrality. And so that's what these guys are trying to do. Get the FCC to label the internet a common carrier, which would automatically create net neutrality. Boom. Automatic sanction net neutrality in one fell swoop. Well, it looks like they have succeeded. It's not finished yet, but apparently Tom Wheeler, who is the chairman of the FCC, he announced about a week and a half ago, I think it was on February 4th, that he's planning to reclassify the internet as a common carrier under Title II. And it's a more important issue than you might think, especially right now as package cable starts to take a poop. Because a lot of these carriers who do package cable, like Time Warner, are also, you like say that I said poop?
I just like the way you said it.
These guys are also internet providers, and so if these guys are they know that they're on the verge of losing millions and millions of dollars as people start to pour away from package cable. They're probably going to be really driven to start to find ways to charge higher costs to recoup all that lost money by charging people for faster service, by doing all kinds of stuff that basically net neutrality would make illegal. So it's really, it's more important than you might think if you do anything online, which you do if you are living in this day and age.
If you're listening to us, you know.
If you're listening to us, yeah, absolutely. So it is important. We don't want these guys to start to rig the game in their favor. I mean, this kind of thing's been happening throughout history. I mean, there's a I can't remember the law, but there was some kind of law that like horse and buggy makers passed back in the early days of. It didn't last very long, and then there's been certain laws throughout. Like I think in England, some of the airline carriers, when Virgin was trying to start up, they were, the big British Airways or whatever were pulling all kinds of shenanigans, trying to pass laws that rigged the game, and it's silly because it only lasts so long, and it's just all it is that it's proving that your model is obsolete, and you should, if you're smart, you need to find a new model, find something that's less obsolete. So I suggest you try not to get glassy-eyed whenever you hear the term net neutrality, and just do a little bit of research for yourself. Because
I'm sorry, why did I stop paying attention?
I know.
See what you both did there?
You both did it. Well done. Because listen, I've been reading some articles that said that maybe this Title II move is not the solution, or that the way that it's bound to get rolled out is not the solution. Whatever. Point is, you should probably understand what's going on. It's going to be a lot more important to you than you may realize over the next coming months.
Dun dun dun.
Anyway.
Net neutrality.
Yeah.
No interest. All right, moving right along, I guess.
No, like it is the sort of thing that like I've almost gone into apathy trying to get people out of apathy about it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, dude, have you heard about this thing? And people are like, yeah, I keep hearing those words, and and I'm like, you don't even get it. Damn it.
You don't even get it, dude.
You don't know, man. You don't know,
man. You don't even know.
Oh man.
Wow.
Okay, so another film, another weekend release that is not as controversial as 50 Shades, but which got its own little weird controversy that I found very interesting. So I thought it was worth mentioning on the show. You know this Kingsman film, right?
Yeah. Looks
like a lot of fun. Haven't seen it yet. I really want to see it this week. It's Colin Firth. It's British spy kind of spoof, kind of not. And Samuel L. Jackson is the bad guy, and he has a lisp. It's like, I'm there, right?
Ooh. He's a lisp.
So at the end of the film, and this is a minor spoiler for Kingsman. It's not important to the plot, but it is a minor thing that happens at the end. So if you don't want to hear, just cover your ears for 30 seconds or whatever. The president is killed. The president of the United States. in this, like, there's some sort of like plot or whatever, that where all of these different people have are like working for the bad guy, Samuel L. Jackson, and they have all of these like implants, and so the good guy basically triggers all the implants to kill all of the bad guy's henchmen. And in like a surprise twist, the president dies, and he looks a lot like Barack Obama, but it's not. You never see him from the front, and it's not necessarily Barack Obama. He was one of his henchmen. Yeah, it's like a whole see what we did there, and so it's like, but this has become controversial because I guess you're not allowed to kill presidents in films, which we do all the time.
I think you can kill presidents. I think you just can't kill presidents that look like the current president.
I guess, maybe. I mean, like, as soon as Obama was, first elected, we had that, what was that movie where Danny Glover was the president and then he died? There was, I think that was, wasn't that 2012? That was, obvious. I guess that wasn't as soon as Obama was elected, but they did that where it was like, anyway. I don't know what it is, but it's like, it's not, anyway, it's weird to me just that, like, because it's a British film, like, they're not allowed to kill the president. But in American films, we're allowed to make every single bad guy in the history of the world a British person.
Dude, when Independence Day came out in, like, whatever, the mid-'90s, I was actually spending the summer in Toronto, and so I saw it there in Toronto. And then when the White House gets blown up, they cheered.
The audience cheered?
They cheered. I was like, whoa, you guys. Messed up.
That's awesome.
The Canadians, they act so polite, but we know. We know.
Wow.
Yes.
Alrighty then.
Super nice, like scary nice, but that was where it all came out.
That's amazing. Well, it doesn't seem to be hurting the film. It's doing $35 million on its opening weekend so far, and that's not 50 Shades of Grey, but it's much better than the studio was expecting.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
good.
because it's got all this controversy. Yay, controversy.
I thought that they would want. I don't know. It looks like they put some money into it, so that's not. I mean, 35 is not a.
Yeah, I bet that it's probably like a $50 million budget, which 35 for an opening weekend, I guess they consider isn't bad. Maybe it's less than 50 million. I don't fucking know, But it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm probably going to try and see it this week, and if I do, I will definitely let everybody know on next week's show how it was.
81 million.
What? What am I looking at? It says 40 million.
40 million budget?
I'm looking at that's. No, sorry.
I'm looking at Box Office Mojo production budget. 81 million.
Really? And they're okay with 35? Because the article I read said that the studio was like totally fine with that.
No, domestically it's 35. Foreign, so far it's 43.
Oh.
All
right.
So worldwide it's rocking 79.
Oh,
so.
Nice. Good.
For them.
Yes, good for Colin Firth. I've seen a few interviews from him about the show, and I like that guy. He's a good guy. Michelle, tell us about LeBron James.
LeBron James. People you don't think you'll be talking about on Film Geeks.
He plays for the Oakland Cardinals, right?
Sure.
The St. Louis Cavs.
But apparently he's building his own Hollywood empire, according to him. With like the $500 million he's already earned is like one of the top earners in the sports industry. So I was reading this interview with him. He envisions an entertainment conglomerate. He envisions an entertainment conglomerate that is philanthropic with family values. Yep. But inevitably, like, his stardom, like, has already, like, opened all kinds of crazy doors in Hollywood. So they have, like, it's called Spring Hill Productions, which is apparently named after a housing complex he moved into when he was a kid. They're rocking, like, tons of projects. Like, so far they have the Disney series Becoming, Stars, Survivor's Remorse, a few reality shows, a trivia game show for NBC, and, like, apparently they're finalizing a deal with CNBC. So go gadget LeBron James, like, do we think that this is the beginning of a theme?
Could be. I mean, more power to him if he does.
Sports guys, like,
definitely the beginning of
money.
a lot of money getting spent on stuff. That's definitely what it's the beginning.
Right? No, we like this. This is good.
Okay.
I mean, it like power, like if it all turns out well, power to him. I really do enjoy when somebody steps into a new field or like steps out of what they've been doing and turns out to be really good at a new thing. Like nobody's happier than I am at the fact that like Ben Affleck is a really good director, arguably, you know, like better than an actor.
Not
I still
arguably.
like it. I
Definitely.
still quite enjoy his acting, but that's just me.
He's not an
Sometimes
awful actor. He's not an
Yeah.
awful actor. Don't get me wrong. He's not an awful actor. He's not his brother. His brother's
But
fucking
I also think
ridiculous.
people are better at things later in life too. So I mean,
yeah, that could be that's
Maybe.
true.
maybe he might be a good actor, better actor.
Except
now.
maybe
I
holding
know
your water
almost
or
nothing
running.
about LeBron James, and everything I know about LeBron James is colored by the fact that he is not on the Lakers, and there's the whole Kobe rivalry. So, like, everybody I know that knows sports that has told me anything about LeBron James talks about him like he's the literal devil. So, like, but I'm like, cool, dude.
I mean, if
Start
you've
your
got
thing.
that much money, you have enough money to hire people that are advisors, like that know things about things and can advise you accordingly. You know,
Yeah.
and as long as you don't, you know, Britney Spears it and hire your mom as your manager, you know, then you're fine.
Right. Which I think he's grown past the point of hiring his mom as his manager.
Yes,
Hopefully.
I hope so.
We lost Chad. Chad's
sorry,
out.
Chad.
Chad's gone.
Sorry.
All right, well, I'm going to
Chad.
jump on to my next thing.
Wow, we didn't fall asleep during fucking net neutrality, so shut up, man.
That neutrality is interesting.
We kind of did. We glazed a little bit. I don't know. So for those who don't know already, this week Jon Stewart announced that he's leaving The
So
Daily
sad.
Show, which is
So sad.
yeah. He's not leaving it yet. He's going later in the year. This was like actually really sad for me. I was kind of upset about it for like a
Me
whole
too.
day. Yeah,
I'm still
'cause-
sad.
I know, I totally am. I loved The Daily Show when I was a teenager when it was Craig Kilborn. Like, I totally thought it was great. And when I found out he was leaving and he was going to be replaced, I was super pissed off, and I was like, fuck this Jon Stewart guy. Like, I was all set up to hate him. And then, but then, like, from his first show, I was like, oh, okay, he's actually quite good. And, like, I've watched him since I was, Jesus, 12
Jesus?
years old.
You were Jesus?
When were you Jesus?
Yeah. No, I was.
You guys
Jesus
were
when I
so
was
in
younger.
sync today. It's amazing.
No, but like he's been on the show for 16 years, so that means I've been watching him since I was 12 years old, and I love him. And like my kids have grown up watching him. Like when my daughter was 2 years old and like walking and running around, anytime, like every night when we'd put the show on, she'd hear the music and come running into the room screaming and jumping up and down in front of the television. Like,
It's a fun song.
yeah, he's been a whole. So he's handing over the reins. We don't know who he's handing it over to. My favorite pick so far is Jessica Williams. I think she would rock the shit out of that show. But I guess we'll see. And it's really interesting that like I feel like in the last 2 or 3 years, like the rate of people leaving the show has been increasing somewhat, and I wonder if this was planned ever so slightly longer than he initially said, you know what I mean? Which I totally wouldn't fault him for at all, but if he was like, hey, in a year or two I'm going to be going, Steven, why don't you, like, you know, you should probably go get the best, like, job you can elsewhere and everything, because, you know, things are going to kind of, like, be tumultuous in the transition, like they
I
always
love
are.
John Oliver's show. John Oliver's show is awesome.
Yeah, he's really, really good.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
good. So,
And I bet you that he was offered the instead of I bet he was offered the thing before Colbert was.
you think so?
Letterman's thing.
Really?
I bet he was. I bet he was.
That's
I bet he
interesting.
was. That's my bet. And he
Oh.
probably was
We
like,
could
yeah,
find
no.
out on the interwebs.
Maybe you can, maybe you can't.
Well,
Oh,
whatever John decides to do next, which honestly he doesn't have to do anything, but whatever he decides to do, best of luck to him.
Yeah. One thing.
Michelle?
Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jed.
One thing, sorry, that
Yes.
Patrick Duncan said was, found his release. I prefer to lose my release. Obviously, when we were talking about 50 Shades of Grey. I thought that was definitely worth discussing.
I actually usually find it hanging from my left earlobe.
God.
That's where I find my release.
or hanging from her left earlobe.
Oh,
Come on, I had
Oh.
to. Okay, my turn. So I had the opportunity today to sit in on auditions for a project that I'm helping out on. And it was very educational. I mean,
Wait, which project?
yeah. Oh,
What's
I
that
don't
about?
know. Some project that's going on. Um, so first of all, everybody was ridiculously talented that came. It was callbacks and every single actor that came in the room was ridiculously talented. But there are a few things I was reminded of being back behind the table as an actor. So I just wanted to reiterate some things that we actors know, but like should just know, like no. Okay, first of all,
Like no or no?
Really no.
No,
Double
no. No.
Double no.
That's a
Chad
double
got
negative.
no voice.
2 no's is a double negative. Makes it a positive.
K-N-O-W, damn you.
KNOW.
KY jelly? What did this? Are
Oh
we
my
talking about
God.
50 Shades of Grey again?
Happened?
Can we-
What happened? Yeah. So, first of all, no matter how good you are, somebody else might get the part. If they're taller or shorter or older or younger or they have a deeper voice or they like work better or like they look like somebody or something. Like it really literally like you don't fucking know. And all you can do is just go in and do your best. And when I go and audition, I automatically assume that if I don't get the job, it's because I sucked. And it was just a reiteration of, hey, it's not because you suck. It's because who knows? Like maybe the project like gets like not, it ends up not happening. Like I remember an audition I had for a co-star in a sitcom, and I was like, I fucking rock that. I don't understand. And I ended up like calling casting director who was a friend, and he was like, oh yeah, they wrote that part out. The guest star's quote was too high. I was like, oh, but you never know. You never know.
Can I give one example that like relates to that I think would be like a useful example?
Yeah.
No.
One time I was casting a project. Shut up, Chad. One time I was casting a project,
Chad.
and I had a role, and I knew the actor that I wanted to play it. I'd known her for years. I knew everything about her personality. I'd written the character like kind of for her, and the person who was producing it was like, "Awesome, but let's have a casting call." And I was like, "It's this person," and they were like, "That's awesome." And I've heard everything you've said about the character, and I've got some people in mind too, and everything. They had a casting call, and he was on point. Every single person he brought in was totally awesome and amazing, and like we would have been blessed to have any of them in the role. And then she was the last audition, and she did it, and she left, and he was like, well, I mean, obviously it's her. Like, it's just like, you know, maybe like they already have some, you know, that's just like one example where it was like everybody was great, but it was just that one other person, you know?
Yeah, I think it's also, just to add on, I'm not contradicting anything you said, which I normally do, but it's super important, I think. One of the best things I ever did when I was an actor was I read as a reader for Lisa London for a bunch of times, like 3 or 4 times. I was doing it with because a friend of mine was doing it a lot for her, and then when he couldn't do it, he asked me to fill in. And it was so helpful because I noticed that there are factors that, and the important thing is that it's not like, I think I knew some of this stuff before I sat in on some of the casting sessions, and I just thought of it in a very cynical way. But then when I actually saw these people and I met them, not all of them were good people, but a lot of them were. And a lot of them were just trying to do the best that they could for their show. And those have, you know, specific things. Sorry, I just want to say, Patrick.
I saw that.
I don't know why it's taking so long for his things to post. Maybe he started it later. Maybe he's probably watching us not live, but like later.
Hi, Patrick.
Yeah. This is Michelle. Oh shoot!
Hated it.
Read all 3 books. Yes, exactly my thing.
I really like his other comment. I thought Twilight was the porn version of Twilight. That was amazing. You read different books than I did, sir.
Yes.
You've read the Twilight books?
Oh yeah, all 4 of them.
Oh goodness, there are 4.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. All right. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
I tried to read one of the books, not so. I did.
Okay.
Anyway. Well, so
I
let's.
was too embarrassed. But there's a few other things that I learned. If we have time, Chad.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah,
yes.
one of them I don't entirely agree with, but that's fine.
Oh.
To pace it up.
Why don't
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just let Michelle get the rest of her segment out?
Yes, go ahead.
Whatever, you guys.
And I will contradict it afterwards.
If you don't know what's going on in the script, ask. Please ask, because we freaking know if you don't know what the hell's going on, and then you just look stupid. And not that anyone looks stupid, but don't assume. And if there are well-worded, intelligent questions, that makes us know that you're a smart actor and that you're willing to collaborate and you're interested in like knowing what's going on. Like if you don't, just ask, and don't. Don't. Number 3, please be off book in case the director asks you to do movements and things, because you just have to be off book. You just be off book. It's important. And if you've done the work on it, then you should know your lines anyway.
Oh, by the way, I'm just going to mention, because I have met people who have no idea what that means but use that term. Off book means you know it without having to look at the script. I had like 2 people where I said that and they were like, what? That's what it means? I'm just like, now I feel like spreading the word.
Always
Are they
hold the
actors?
script in case shit goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actors, yeah.
Wow. That's
Interesting.
amazing. That's sad.
I have a very strong feeling I know which one of those. I
Type it in chat.
No, I don't necessarily agree with this one, Chad, but I think it helps, and it helps bring energy to the scene. Like if you're feeling lack of energy in a scene, just when in doubt, just pace it up.
Well, and actually, I also take exception, and I know I'm in the minority on this. I also take exception with the off-book thing, because to me, it's far more important that you get and I know that, again, I'm in the minority. I know a lot of people want them to be off-book. I don't, and in fact, I actually, if they don't have the script in their hand, I actually get afraid, because for me, if they've already rehearsed, I feel like if they've rehearsed it too much without me, then I'm not going to be able to listen. If they're really good at taking notes, then I won't care. That's more than anything. That's what's going to matter. Book, off book, on book, it doesn't matter to me. As long as they are not have rehearsed it so much into the ground that they're not going to take my notes. Because if they can't take my notes, then obviously it's not going to work, because I'm not. I mean, what am I? Why am I? And you know what I mean? They're not going to know. I don't talk 9 times out of 10. I'll tell you in a audition whether or not it's actually important or not. If I'm saying it's probably important. If I'm saying, let's just try this, then it's not important. And it's just something I want to see. And you're probably already doing a lot of really good shit at that point. But that's that thing. But the pace thing to me is it's this whole energy thing that really bad directors are constantly saying, it needs more energy. That's only bad directors who say that. Trust me. It's not specific, and it's general, and that's my issue more with. I mean, it should have direction, and it should be going somewhere, and it should be going there with intensity. If that's right for that role, it should be going there with a sense of purpose. And generally, if something's important, you know what I mean. If it's drama, then it's important. But if it's just general speeding, then I don't like it. I never like it, and I always want it to. And then I'll be like, whoa, slow down. Let's take our moments. Let's see what's happening. What is this about? You know what I mean? And these guys were kind of.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
These guys were, it was callbacks. So it was, and if you haven't figured it out, I was in there too. It was a project that's what was that? Which was odd that she didn't mention me, but whatever. It's.
What the hell, Michelle?
I just didn't know if it was a super secret thing or not.
It's not secret. No, I got nothing to hide. But these were obviously callbacks. So it was all the people who really, and in fact, there were some really good people that we didn't even have time to call back, because it was just like when you see 10 people for each role, it's just like, why are you even having callbacks? It's ridiculous. So we limited anyway. So I already know certain things, And I don't disagree with you. In a couple of cases, it was absolutely it would have helped. But anyway, I'm talking too much about this.
Well, no, okay, but quickly before you move on, I think the problem happens when, and I agree with you that you shouldn't always pace it up, and every moment should be full, and if the moment is full, then I don't give a fuck how slow it's going. But I think what happens when an actor feels a scene falling flat, they try to add time. It gets slower because they're trying to act and trying to add something to it.
They're eating the furniture.
And I think yes, and I think and also like you lose your natural instincts too when you're slowing it down so much that you're trying to like figure out what's wrong with it and fix it. Just like you just pace it up and react.
Yeah,
I'll not that that's something that should happen always, but if the shit's hitting the fan, usually that's something that it can.
But I would say get specific and make choices. That to me, I mean, maybe it's the same thing.
Yeah, I think it might be two ways of saying the same thing, but like I just want to jump in and say that I'm on the other side of Chad's coin, where like I definitely want people, like I do not want people. I really enjoy people who can memorize lines really well, and you know I will definitely work with. I will definitely work with certain people that don't memorize so well all the time, as you guys know. But,
yes.
Yeah, we should have filmed like that.
It's no problem. But I really enjoy people who are just like, bam, got it. But at the same time, Chad, yes, obviously they have to be able to take notes and actually change their performance based on what you want. And
but do you rehearse with your actors is the question, because through the rehearsal process they have it memorized by the time before we get on screen. I mean, for
sure, but also like if in the course of rehearsals, like if somebody can memorize lines before they come to rehearsal, that tells me that if I change lines, we're not going to constantly be having them say the same, say the old things when we get to. You get what I mean? Like it tells me that people are good at it.
But I like, and to be clear, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but to be clear, I'm a very particular type of actor. I mean, producer. I mean, director. Damn it, I'm producing a lot more nowadays.
What are you?
But as a director, there's very specific things that I know I'm good at, and that I know I am interested. And honestly, if somebody was like, "Hey, check out the script. You want to do this?" If it's not my thing, I generally will be like, "I'll find you somebody better." You know, most of the time, unless it's a piece that I think that we should just do for fun. Let's just do it. And that thing is specificity, detail, nuance. That's what I'm good at. And so that takes a very particular level of attention, and it takes a very particular level of, and that's why I think, to me, specificity, truth is more important than these other things. And we can, if I know that you can hit a moment, that is a gazillion times more important to me than to know whether it's moving fast, whether overall it's, and that's just me. Anyway,
can I just one really quick thing to say about that?
We all want to be the last, yes.
I know. So if you've done this work and you've been really specific with whatever you are coming in with to an audition, if you have really thought out all the moments, thought out your motivation as an actor, thought about like backstory, whatever, everything, relationship, don't you think that if you've done that much work that you would be memorized?
Well, I don't. That's the thing I'm afraid of, is that if they've done too much of it without me, then they get locked in, and that happens more often than I am happy with. I would rather. There's good actors who get locked into a particular line read that is just tearing my ears to pieces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
I just want to, I'm a partner, and I don't want to, I want my shot. You know what I mean? And if you rehearse it into the ground before we get cracking, then it's just like, well, why am I there? You know? Anyway, so let's move on, if we may. I think we've kind of beaten this into the ground.
Let's do it.
This is going to be an interesting topic, because there's a lot that I cannot say about this particular thing. I have a lot of really crazy information on a very particular indie horror film that's filming right now that I cannot say a word about, because somebody I care very much about, is producing the film. And what this person has been dealing with on a daily basis for the past week has been unbelievable. It's like all the worst filmmaking cliches in the world have all hit one small film in 1 week in this tiny little production. And like I said, I can't go into detail, but except to say that it's, amidst all the insanity, they're still moving forward. They keep finding ways to move past every single obstacle that they've hit. And a lot of it's pretty heinous stuff. It's insane. I mean, nobody got killed, but I mean, not for lack of trying. They only have another week and a half left. And it actually, after this past week, after the past couple days, it actually looks really promising. Now, there's a reason I can't talk specifics because there's some serious potential for lawsuits that are already, there's some potential liability, and so intelligently they basically asked people to kind of to sign some NDAs to keep this specific news from getting out. And they're of course PRing some changes and stuff like that. And the people who are still around making this film, I really, like I said, not just the people that I know, but other people, they sound like they're really trying hard, and I want them to be as protected as possible. And that is actually what I want to talk about, protection. You need to, when you're making a film, you need to make sure you are protected if you possibly can. Obviously, insurance is important, but I think that that's probably a reason why I try to work with people that that I trust. And you only get a couple chances with me. If sometimes you only get one. If you really mess it up, you only get the one, and then it's clear. And by the way,
you've given me a lot of chances, Chad.
You haven't. You're indie. And I'll get into that. If there's, you can be my friend, and still be awful at indie. You might, if you have, for whatever reason, you have different. If you don't know what it really is.
I'm literally right here. Sorry, I'll stop now. I will stop.
Well, I recently hired a friend on a project. Again, I'm not going to say specifics on it because I'm extremely disappointed. This person promised to I basically cared very much about this project. I hadn't worked with him on an indie project before, but we were pretty decent friends, I thought, And so I directed almost 20% of the budget, almost 1/5 of the entire budget. It wasn't quite 20%, but it was on very close to this one person's job. And recently they basically, we were listen, we're not entirely at fault. We were taking our time with some stuff, but I mean, it's indie. You know what I mean? Good, fast, or cheap. Pick two. That's it. You can't be good, fast, and cheap. You have to be two of those. And I never have any money, and I want it to be good. So it's going to take a little time. It just is. And I'm sorry, but so we dropped the ball with this person, and this person basically sent me kind of a scathing email saying, like, it's your fault, and I can only deliver about half what I promised, and I'm doing no more. And I was like, okay, all right, thanks. And I wrote back an email that I thought was very sort of diplomatic and said, okay, cool, understand. Sorry, you didn't understand how indie works, but good, fast, cheap, blah, blah, blah. I told him the whole deal. And I haven't heard back from him. And it still sucks because he still has that money. He's had that money. And he's still only going to give me about half what he needs, and I have to get the other half myself. And I can't say specifically because it's going to be really obvious at some point. And that sucks. But that's it. The dude just kind of shot himself in the foot when it comes to that. I can still be friends with him, but that's it. We're not ever going to work together again, not on a film. And it's a damn shame because I feel like, I don't know, even when we're big, even when we're actually doing stuff, and by the way, this is not a We Make Movies person, so I doubt any of you guys would know this person. But we always finish our films. I mean, we don't necessarily. Sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it doesn't. We actually, I think, on average, we're pretty good at getting stuff done. But I mean, honestly, I've been really, really slammed lately. So just, I guess, try to keep your ego, like I was saying last week, in your art, and out of the way that you treat the people that you are working with.
Right.
So.
I mean, like, people need to understand indie. People need to understand that it's a group effort. It's not.
Or don't do it. Or just don't do it.
Or don't do it. But you know what's interesting is that I did hosted red carpet at the Pasadena International Film Festival on Thursday. So I got to interview some great folks, and I was talking to Jason Ritter, who very good looking, by the way.
What was he there for? Did they finish that?
He had a film, 7 Minutes, in the festival that's nominated.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
It was called 7 Minutes? Is it a feature called 7 Minutes?
It's a feature called 7 Minutes about a bank heist that kind of goes wrong.
I'll bet you it's more than 7 minutes long.
Probably.
Lovely guy, but we were talking to, if you don't know about the Pasadena International Film Festival, it's their big party is 1920s themed. So I was asking all the people I was interviewing about what we should, as filmmakers, keep around from the 1920s or learn from the films of the 1920s, like, and the actors, like the Buster Keatons and the Charlie Chaplins and all those films. And Jason actually had a really good answer, and his answer was that we all participate in the making of the film. Right. You know, there weren't, like, you know, obviously there's unions now, whatever, but, like, you know, the actors would help move the sets and would help set up the camera, write things, and, like, it was all kind of a group effort, like, let's make something cool. Now it's like, how much can I get paid to do this, and I'm only doing this for this amount of time, and my union says I can't do this and that, whatever. Anyway, I was like, I agree with that. I mean, and that's indie film. Yeah. And I think that's what's fun about it too. Like, I will, you know, happily go spend my Saturday on somebody's set being a PA for free rather than, like, sitting around in my living room, because you want to make this. You want to make something good. You want to make something lasting. Right. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Sage advice. On that note, sage advice to wrap out the show. So we end, as always, with community news and our things to know. First of all, please, if you are listening to the show, whether you're listening on the audio feed or you are viewing the YouTube video, please go rate the show on iTunes. That helps us out tremendously, helps other people discover the show, and generally just kind of lets us know what you think about us. We care. This week is the Writers' Workshop at We Make Movies. I will be coming. Yay! I'll also be attending the Writers' Workshop. So that's at 7:30 p.m. See what I did in the Theater Asylum.
On her left ear.
There's a piece that I really, oh God. There's a piece
and I'm excited because I'm reading a piece that is one of the fucking coolest, most wonderful, awesome things, and I just read it. It's so good.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And it's a piece, actually, that I'm trying to produce.
Yeah.
So come and check it out. It's very hilarious. With a writer that I've been trying to get to come to We Make Movies for a long time. He's finally coming.
Okay, so come to the Come to the Theater Asylum in Hollywood, 7:30 p.m.
People, full circle.
Full circle, jerk. Also, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com, where you can support us. Patreon. Jesus fucking Christ. I thought I had it all prepared. I was like, I'm going to say it right this time. I'm not going to say Patreon, because that's the wrong way.
Just think patron. Just think patron.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway.
Never mind. It's patron, but it's also patronage. You know what I mean?
Okay, yep.
Just saying. That doesn't always help.
Patreon.
So, Patreon.
Patreon.com.
WeMakeMovies.org/Patreon or Patreon.com/WeMakeMovies. You can find us and support us there, where we are now fully funded for our regular weekly Wednesday events, are fully funded by the community, which is fantastic, and all extra funds go into a rolling production account that actually helps us make more movies, which is fucking cool. Word. So there's that. Things to know. What do we got going on this week? Michelle?
I got nothing.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Chad?
I got a few things, so I'll take
No,
yours.
actually, there's the thing to know. I am currently employed as the department director of the commercial dance department at Relativity School, which is I think the world's first accredited university that's funded by a major film studio. So they've got like crazy, they've got like filmmaking majors, they've got screenwriting, producing, dance, like all this like crazy stuff that's going on. And they have a workshop series that they are starting to take sign-ups for the summer. They do summer filmmaking workshops, like screenwriting, dance, filmmaking, for adults. So if you want to pop in, check it out, relativityschool.org. These guys are like literally the guy that like heads up the film department has an Academy Award. So it's crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, check it out.
Cool. Chad?
Cool. So I Baked Ziti is a short film that I'm kind of helping produce, sort of, and it's almost at the halfway point on Kickstarter right now. There's 11 days left. Please go check it out. Spread the word. We need to help over the next 11 days. We're not going to make it. WeMakeMovies.org/BZ, as in Baked Ziti, will take you directly to the link. Also, Mr. Robot is a show that I have. It's on. I don't think it's on USA Today. USA rather yet. The network, but it looks. I've seen like an advanced copy, and it looks really good. And it's an episodic, and it's basically about sort of a Robin Hood. It's like an activist hacker kind of guy who like basically goes after. He's like a vigilante. He's like a vigilante hacker, and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Vigilante hacker.
Yeah, it looks really good. I haven't seen the whole first episode, but just the first like 10 minutes of it, I'm already hooked. So, Mr. Robot, keep it up.
And I'm totally okay with that. That's awesome. So for anybody who views my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thegarrettrobinson, I have been doing this like whole like health body cleanse thing for the last few weeks. I finished that yesterday, so I'll be returning to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thegarrettrobinson, starting with a fresh video tomorrow. So if you haven't already, pop over there and subscribe.
He's
Awesome.
funny.
Thank you. Looks aren't everything. And with that, I will see what I did there. I will call it end to this episode of the We Make Movies Film Geek podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Patrick Duncan, for your live comments. I'm Garrett Robinson. You can find me at garrettbrobinson.com. Chad is at superfreako.com. And Michelle is on Twitter at @do. We'll see you next week, everybody. Good night.
Ow! What? Ah!